I found a bunch of interesting ways people make money, and today we're going to decide if they're evil or genius. Let's start with making $50,000 per month with an AI YouTube channel. Okay, so check this out. This is a YouTube channel called Chill Dude Explains. He uploads every single day, and in the past month, he's gotten around 14.1 million views. That's around $36,000 to $60,000 in revenue, just in the past month. But the thing is, the videos he makes are mainly AI. The voice is AI, the script is heavily AI based, and I'm pretty sure even the stick figure visuals are made from AI. And I'm guessing what he does is edit everything together. And if you take a look at the comments in the videos, people are absolutely loving them. There's not a single comment about it being AI. Like, oh my god, how does bro spit these out every single day? These are freaking amazing. I'm so glad I found this channel. I love it. These videos are great. Now, AI haters might call this slop, but it's still getting views and people are actually liking the videos, and he's making around $50,000 per month from this. So this has to be genius. Next up, we have solar eclipse glasses. Okay, take a look at these listings on Amazon. Right now, as you can see, there's pretty much zero sales. But when the solar eclipse happened last year, I took a snapshot, and this is how many sales they were getting. 100,000 sold in the past month, 100,000 for this as well, 100,000, 30,000, 8,000. These cost like 10 to 20 cents each to make, and they were selling for like $30. So if they sold 100,000 units during the eclipse, after you take out all the fees and shipping costs, they probably made around $2.2 million. And that's just for one listing. There's so many other listings as well that have thousands of sales. This is the perfect example of selling something that people want and having perfect timing. So this is definitely genius. In fact, I think for the next solar eclipse, I might even try doing this. Isn't it like 30 years later though? Shit. Next up, we have this guy, Martin Shkreli. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This guy kinda looks evil. Also, pretend you can't see the headline that calls him the most hated man. How is it that he looks so smug in every single photo? Okay, before we decide evil or genius, let me tell you what he did to make money. The basic story is that he acquired the rights for a medicine that nobody else was making and increased the price from $13.50 to $750 per pill, which is like 56 times the original price. And since there was no other company that made the medicine, people needed to buy it to stay alive. Plus, I also heard that he prevented anyone else from manufacturing the medicine as well. So he made around $65 million from this. But since this was so comically evil, it got so much attention that he ended up getting sued by the FTC. And he had to pay the money back, and he got a lifetime ban from being in the medicine industry. Oh, and he also ended up going to jail for a few years, but that was for securities fraud. The funny thing is, if he didn't act like an evil cartoon villain, he could have just raised the price by double, and nobody probably would have shut him down for it. Yeah, so this guy definitely goes in the evil category. I'm pretty sure none of you guys are surprised by that. So in 2021, this Italian artist sold an invisible sculpture for $18,000. As you can see, here's the artist and here's nothing. And the person who bought it did get a certificate of authenticity to prove that it exists. Kinda reminds me of NFTs, to be honest. But at least with NFTs, you would actually get an image. Here you just get nothing. He's also done this once before as well, with a sculpture. And what he did with that was, he just put a square of tape on the ground. Anyone who can make you pay $18,000 for nothing is definitely a genius. Okay, next up we have one of the most interesting ways people made money. And that is Gamer Girl bathwater. Remember when Belle Delphine sold a bathwater for $30 each and sold out 3,000 units in 3 days? There was even some thirsty people that drank the water. There was also another influencer called Amaranth that sold $1,000 fart in jars. And the most latest one is Sydney Sweeney and Dr. Squatch making a soap out of a bathwater. This is really interesting because the first time Belle Delphine sold her bathwater, it like unlocked a thing in everybody's mind that was like, oh my god, I had no idea you could do this. I can't believe this is possible. And she's making money from this. This definitely goes in genius. Okay, next up we have AI girls. Take a look at this. This is insane. If you're just scrolling on Facebook and you come across this, you will not be able to tell that this is AI. You can kind of tell if you focus on her hands, but who the hell's looking at her hands? There's also this person who has 152,000 followers. She's also semi-AI. And there was a Spanish influencer AI model that makes $10,000 per month. And she does like brand deals as well. Anyway, I think a lot more people will be making this type of stuff, either to make money directly or to promote their products. I think this goes in evil genius. Next up is BizExplorer. So this is an email newsletter that finds trending, viral or interesting businesses or interesting ways people are making money and sends it directly to your email. Like, did you know that there's a $300 popcorn making company that's made around $1.1 million? Or a little device that you stab into a can and drink out of, and that's made around $6 million in sales? And if people want to find out about more interesting ideas, they can sign up at bizexplorer.co. Personally, I think this is quite genius. Flipping Pokemon cards. So Pokemon cards are going up in price so much nowadays, like a set that was released 3 months ago is now going for double the price. So what a lot of people are doing is that they're buying Pokemon cards from places like Costco and selling them for a higher price online. Like, it's gotten to the stage where there's hordes of people running and fighting each other to get the Pokemon cards at the store. And because of that, pretty much every single store that sells Pokemon cards officially is out of stock. It's kind of a depressing situation, to be honest, because I remember having Pokemon cards as a kid and it wasn't about flipping them, it was actually about having fun with them and seeing which one has like a cool design. And I do remember some really dumb trades happening in school though. Like, some kid sold his Blue Eyes White Dragon for 50 cents. So anyways, this is probably one of the worst things you could possibly do. People absolutely hate scalpers. This definitely goes in the evil category. Now let me tell you about the $6.2 million banana. Yes, this is real. So this museum in New York taped a banana to the wall and called it art. I guess it kinda is now that it became a meme, but people actually bid for this. And the winning bid was from this crypto billionaire called Justin Sun for $6.2 million. And of course, the first thing that he did when he won the auction, well, let's just see. Yep. He ate the banana. Of course he did. He ate the banana. What else would you buy it for? Dude, this museum is either super genius or they're money laundering, because who the hell can make this work? But if I were to tape fruit to the wall, I would just be called stupid. Next up, we have shipping insurance for chocolate. So check this out. This is a chocolate brand called Tabs Chocolate. And on the checkout page, they added melting protection for $5. Which is funny because it says right here, they were replacing melted chocolate at no cost before. And now they're making pretty much free money. This is low-key kind of genius. Sure, it's a bit evil, but if you think about it, so is insurance as a whole. Yeah, because if the average person that gets insurance actually made more than what they pay the insurance, then the insurance people wouldn't be profitable. They would actually lose money for each customer they get, and they wouldn't be in business. I guess the real thing they're selling is peace of mind. Okay, now this next one is the perfect example of how it's easier to make money when you already have a ton. But this is probably one of the most genius things I've ever seen. It's how Uncle Warren made $5 billion for free. So in 2019, he borrowed $5 billion from Japanese banks at a super cheap interest rate of 0.5% per year. He then put that money into 5 secure Japanese companies that were paying around 7.5% each for the dividend each year. What that means is he was making $375 million from the dividends and only had to pay the banks $25 million. So he was profiting $350 million every year. But the crazy thing is, the stock price of the companies that he invested in pretty much doubled. So now he's sitting on around $10 billion and making like $700 million per year. And all of that is pretty much for free since he borrowed the money to start with. That's why he's the GOAT, world's greatest investor for a reason, huh? Insider trading. Okay, don't pay attention to the headlines or images or who's on screen. That's just alleged. Don't come after me, Nancy. Also, it's pretty funny how someone built a $750 million company just by helping people copy the trades of Nancy Pelosi and Buffett. Okay, so insider trading is basically when you have information that isn't public and you use that information to profit off the stock price of the company. So for example, if you find out that a company is going to announce some bad news and you know that the stock price is going to fall, you can sell your stock before it falls. Or if there's a company that's going to announce like really good news, you can buy shares of that company and make money before everyone else finds out about it and drives up the stock price. So this is actually illegal because this is unfair to the people who don't have insider information. And in a way, you're actually profiting off all the other people. Also, a funny story, the first chairman of the SEC actually got rich by insider trading. And then he got put in charge to make it illegal, which I guess makes sense since he knew how it worked. But it's still kinda ironic. Anyways, this goes in the evil category. Okay, next up is Mr. Beast Philanthropy. So if you forget about Feastables, his main channel and other stuff and focus on Beast Philanthropy, where he helps people and makes videos about it, a lot of people are saying that he exploits people that need help by making videos about them that get views and make money. Like he helped 1,000 people that were blind to see again, and the video got like 100 million views, but he got a ton of backlash for, I don't know. I'm sure the people that can see again thanks to him aren't complaining. This is probably one of the most genius ways someone is making money and making the world a better place while doing that. Buy now, pay later. So using things like Afterpay or Klarna to pay for your burrito in 4 payments instead of having to pay the full price upfront. At first, this seems like a kinda good deal, but if you ever miss a payment, you get screwed with the amount of interest rate you have to pay. They also take 6% of revenue from merchants, but merchants are happy to pay this because this gets them more sales. But right now, it seems like they're the ones getting screwed, since people are just using the buy now pay later, but they don't pay later. This one's interesting because this is a genius way to get people to buy more stuff and increase sales for merchants, but also kind of evil since their business model relies on people missing their payments so they can charge them a ton of interest. I guess that means this is evil genius. Surge pricing. So increasing the price of stuff when there's higher demand. So for example, if there's a hurricane coming and you want to get an Uber to leave the city, there's a bunch of other people that want to leave as well. So whoever can pay more gets the Uber. Kind of annoying if you're a customer, but from a business point of view, this kind of makes sense. If you can raise your prices and still sell out, why wouldn't you do that? There's also dynamic pricing where the price can go down as well. So an example of this is when you go to the shops at the end of the day and some of the stuff in the bakery is like 3 times cheaper than normal price. There's also things like happy hour or when the Asian food takeaway places put like boxes of food on sale at the end of the day. You get some stuff for cheap and the business makes a bit of money on the things that they were going to throw out anyway. This isn't really evil or genius, this is just supply and demand. The next thing is definitely evil though, and that is subscription traps. So like when you sign up for a free trial and it charges you for an annual subscription, or it requires a phone call to cancel when you actually signed up online. I actually ended up with a year of eBay Plus because of this, and they wouldn't even let me cancel it even though I contacted them the day it started. Evil. OnlyFans chatbots. So pretty much all the creators on OnlyFans are using chatbots to talk to people. And these things are designed to make you feel a connection to the creator, but it's actually just an AI bot. Plus they also try and upsell you. Also, if you think about it, if someone has like 1,000 subs, there's no way they're chatting to each one of those people by themselves. There's literally not enough time in the day for that. This is definitely evil. Okay, now let me tell you about a $1.3 million rock. But it's not actually a rock, it's just a picture of a rock. That's right, it's an NFT. Yeah, so there was an NFT called Ether Rock, and it was basically 100 images of the same rock but in different colors. Gary Vee tweeted about this once, and the price went so high that the cheapest one of these cost $300,000. Also, you remember the guy that bought the $6.2 million banana? He actually bought one of these as well for $500,000. I don't know who made these or who profited, but whoever did is a genius because they literally made millions of dollars selling the stupidest shit ever. By the way, yes, it is worthless now. Not that it was worth anything to begin with. Pay to win game mechanics. So things like loot boxes or making a level way too hard that needs a special power up. I'm looking at you, Candy Crush. Some mobile games also run events where people won't have enough or one resource to win. And conveniently, they also have that one resource on sale as well. It's kind of evil how low the chance of getting something that you want from loot boxes is. Like in a game called MapleStory, if you want the superpower pet, which is pretty much required if you want to level up, there's only like a 3% chance and each roll costs like $3.5. So you would need to spend like $120 on average just to get one. I think if you need to pay to win and it's impossible otherwise, that's kind of evil. But if it's just bonuses, cosmetics and quality of life improvements and people actually get the value what they're paying for, then I guess it's fine. So I'm putting this in evil genius. Okay, next up is ad arbitrage. So this is where you buy traffic for cheap and then sell ads on the website to try and make a profit. So for example, if you run ads to get a person on your website for 10 cents and then sell ads on your website for 15 cents, you make a 5-cent profit for each user. I don't think this is really a thing for websites or blogs anymore, but this is a strategy that a lot of newsletters use to make money. Basically, the idea is that you run ads to get subscribers for like $2 each, and then you sell ads in your newspaper for like $30 per 1,000 users. So if you want 1,000 subscribers, they'll cost you $2,000 to get. And if you send an email that's sponsored like 3 times a week, you make around $360 per month. And you make back your money in 6 months. I wouldn't really call this evil since it's pretty much just business. Next is copycat Amazon products. So finding a product that's doing well on Amazon and copying it. Now this is a lot harder than it seems. You need to find high quality suppliers and it's actually pretty hard to compete with a product that has like 5,000 5-star ratings when you have none. Like why would anyone buy your product if it's the same as the more established one? So it kinda needs to be unique. The best execution of this I've seen is actually Amazon Basics. Since Amazon knows what product is selling best, they get the best selling products in a category and then they make their own version. But to be fair, Amazon also does make them really high quality and cheaper, but they also rank themselves higher as well. So I'm gonna put this as pretty evil genius from Amazon. Next up is hedge funds. So from what I've researched, it seems like hedge funds are pretty much just a bunch of degen gamblers that try and make money buying and selling stocks. But the difference is they manage billions of dollars and get paid a management fee, which is huge. And funnily enough, a lot of them don't even make more than the S&P 500. But based off reputation alone, these guys have to be in the evil category. But I guess it is pretty genius how they made themselves pretty rich. Next up is established titles. You guys remember established titles? They used to sponsor a lot of big YouTubers before being called out as a scam. It's technically more of a fun gag gift than it is a scam, but the idea behind this was that you could buy a lordship title pack for $50, and established titles would send you a PDF that declared you a lord. This is probably one of the most genius ways someone has printed money out of thin air. Okay, next is pyramid schemes. The ironic thing about these is that I've heard that some of the products they sell are actually decent, but most of the people that get in this actually lose money. Evil.